Good morning, YouTube. All right, I believe I've been revisited by frozen shoulder syndrome. I'm not saying my whole shoulder's freezing up or anything, but it dawned on me when I got on the Total Gym and tried to hang my body weight, on my shoulders, and I'm like, where I had the frozen shoulder on the left, the sensation was identical to prior to having frozen shoulder, which I realized was the beginning of frozen shoulder. It was the cornerstone. It was there for years. I would try to hang on the Total Gym, and I just couldn't quite bear all my weight on the left. So I'm like, I'm old, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm getting older, little things happen. I just wasn't examining it all the way. Then a few years later, it developed into immediately frozen shoulder. It comes in overnight, and you're just like, what the fuck? I can't move my arm, and the pain is excruciating. And it was horrifying, and it was 9 months of, but it was really about 6 weeks of horrific pain. After that, I was able to cope, and steadily it got better and better. Every time I visited my chiropractor, which was at first 3 times a week, I think, the first couple of weeks, and then twice a week after that for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then once a week, because he was busy breaking up the scar tissue, which they call adhesions, because it's like glue, adhesive, in between. Now, I looked this frozen shoulder up, and it said, it's scar tissue inside the capsule of the joint, where the joint's rolling around inside the cup, And I'm going, wow, that's fucked up. And how come my muscles hurt so goddamn much? Anyway, and then he said, well, it actually forms scar tissue in between the muscles. And I was like, what? Why? And he's like, I don't know. Well, that's a whole nother theory that I have, that it's mostly women who hit menopause or a menopausal age, even if they're not there yet. That's mostly who gets frozen shoulder. Well, let me just tell you real quick what I think it is. I think it's empty nest syndrome. I think it's unhealed trauma that is attached to your children, because it's the arm, and it'll be the non-dominant arm, and that's why I came up with this theory. The non-dominant arm is the one we're holding the baby with the most. It was my left arm. When they grow up and begin to leave home, I just feel like this was an internal thing, and just said, oh, my baby. I wasn't thinking it consciously. I thought of this later, years after this occurred. I was like, wait a second. Because my third baby daddy, which is my second husband. My son's father said to me, because he's a medical data analysis guy for many, many years. He studied all kinds of medical data in association with AIDS and spinal injuries, all kinds of stuff. And he said to me, Karen, I ran across natural progesterone, bioidentical progesterone, as part of the treatment plan for frozen shoulder, which is another thing that went ding, 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 hormonal, about, and I'm going, it's about the empty nest, it's about some kind of, traumatic feeling without you acknowledging. I didn't acknowledge any of this mentally. I didn't feel any of this, the empty nest syndrome, nothing. But I think my body kept the score. They say there's that book, The Body Keeps the Score. My body kept the score on that one, and I'm just like going about my life like, whatever. Whatever. And here comes frozen shoulders. Anyway, I'm getting this, that was a short jaunt about frozen shoulder being associated with menopause, empty nest syndrome, and all that crap. So I'm starting to get this same feeling in my arm. I'm going, oh my God. So I walked around like this for a couple of weeks, and I'm like thinking I'm on my way to pole right now. I'm like, oh my God, my pole instructor's gonna think I'm a pussy. But anyway, I finally figured it out. It was adhesions. I went to my massage girl yesterday. I said, look, I think it's adhesions. She's not the average masseuse. She hasn't had 6 months of training, and she hangs her shingle. She's been to school for 3 solid years of all kinds of different massage techniques and learning about the bodily structures and different things like this. So she was very cleanly able to go in, and she actually did a better job. I'm sorry, Dr. Brenner, I'm sorry! But she did a better job at breaking up, because I said, girl, I made an appointment with my chiropractor next week, which I already canceled, because I went to her yesterday, to get these. I said, Dr. Brenner, I think I got adhesions. Well, he's only going to spend 10 minutes with me. She spends an hour. Plus she does more, covers more. Which is, it's understand. I get it. But anyway, I'm sorry. $45 to see him because my insurance doesn't cover him anymore. Or $100 for her. And that's giving her a $20 tip or $25 tip. I'm like, I'll take the 100 for a 100, a massage for 100, Alex, please. And she did it. And it was very painful, but she did it in a way that was, I'd say, was I mean, I'm not saying that this guy didn't have to go in with his thumb at times and go down deeper in the groove, because I still feel like there's a little bit left that she could have got, but it's deep. It's deeper. I mean, she went around the whole arm. It was like, oh, it was very painful. She's apologizing. I'm like, no, girl, get it. Because when I got off her table, I could move. My range of motion was much larger. And it wasn't that my range of motion was gone. There was not any, well, there was a little bit of range of motion gone. But that was so painful I couldn't move. I mean, I could do it physically, but the pain was like, ah! And it's because these adhesions were pulling on my muscle tissue, which she broke a lot of it up, and I was able to get up and roll my arm around. I'm like, woo! So I'm on my way to Judy's. Let's see what I can do. Because I'm going to tell her, we're going to try. We're going to press my arm a little bit. And we're going to see what we can see what I can do. Anyway, yay for adhesion removal. You would think, no, Karen, that's not what it is. If you've never had this done and you have adhesions, which you probably do if you got a lot of pain, you can't get rid of it, give it a whirl. All right. Peace out, man. Let's go pull. Let's go pull a little bit at Judy's.